Okay, White Giraffe Chapter 3. Here we go. The first thing Martine noticed was the heat. It rose from the airport runway in a soupy, silvery haze so thick that the horizon appeared to bow under the weight of the blue sky, and all the plains had wavy edges as if in a dream. Back in England, it had been a freezing winter's night, with the weather report forecasting gales and heavy snow, but here Martine felt as if she was burning up. She stood without moving, a small, deathly pale 11-year-old, and watched the other passengers board the yellow bus to the terminal. Wake up, love. You don't want to be left behind. A bald man in a billabong surf shirt was leaning over her. Where's Mom and Dad? They waiting for you? Martine wanted to burst into tears and scream so loudly that everyone in the airport could hear her. Yes, actually, I do want to be left behind. And no, my mom and dad are not waiting. They'll never be waiting. Instead, she just mumbled, I'm not, somebody's meeting me. You don't sound very sure. Harry, what are you doing? I'm fed up to the back teeth with you. The bus is leaving, and if you're not here in 5 seconds, so am I, a woman called shrilly. I'll be fine, Martine told the man. Thanks for asking. Really? He reached out a damp pink paw and patted her hand on the shoulder. Cheer up, love. You're in Africa now. The woman at the information desk at the Cape Town airport tapped a little drum roll on the counter with her purple nails and squinted over Martine's head at the line that was beginning to form. Her name tag described her as Nolene Henshaw, assistant supervisor. My girl, it's not that I don't want to help you, she told Martine in a nasal voice, but I'm going to need a few more details. Now, what does your grandmother look like? Martine tried to conjure up a picture of a grandmother she'd never seen. Well, do you have a phone number for your grandmother? Just an address, admitted Martine. For much of her journey, she'd been taken care of by a cheery flight attendant named Haley, whose job it was to look after unaccompanied minors. But as soon as they landed in South Africa, Haley had just pointed her in the direction of the airport bus and cheerily waved goodbye. Nolene gave an exasperated shake of her henna-red hair and looked again at the line. Sweetie, I think the best thing for you to do is to sit over there where I can keep an eye on you. If your grandmother does not show up, I'll try to find someone to help you. Okay, Martine said uncertainly. Thank you. She picked up her suitcase and her new olive green backpack, a present from Miss Rose, and walked into the arrivals hall, taking a seat under the Welcome to South Africa sign. Never in her life had she felt less welcome. More than an hour had gone by since the plane had landed in Cape Town, and still no one had arrived to collect her. Martine was close to tears. Her worst fears had been realized. Her grandmother hadn't wanted her, and so hadn't bothered to come and fetch her. What Martine was going to do now, with no money and nowhere to stay, she had absolutely no idea. Added to which she was weak with hunger. It was 10 o'clock in the morning, and all she had to eat since the previous evening was Mrs. Morrison's chocolate cake. The food on the plane had been inedible. The scrambled eggs were watery, the rolls had the consistency of a tennis ball, and the main meal, well, it smelled like pet food. Martine made up her mind again fly without extensive supplies of cake and maybe some ham sandwiches just for good measure. Opposite her, a smiling customer left the Juicy Lucy stand with a smoothie and a large muffin. Martine's stomach rumbled enviously. Miss Martine, you'll be thinking we have forgotten you, boomed a voice so deep that it rumbled in her chest like a bass drum. Martine looked up to see a mahogany giant bearing down on her, arms outstretched and the broadest smile in Africa on his face. He had a scar in the shape of a question mark on one shining cheek and a tooth on a leather thong around his neck. He was wearing a bush hat with a zebra skin band and a khaki hunter-type clothing that had seen, well, better days. Miss Martine? He queried. Without waiting for her to reply, he gripped her hand and pumped it up and down furiously. I'm Tendai, he said. I'm very, very happy to meet you. Your grandmother has told me all about you. She was very sorry that she couldn't be here to collect you, but oh, what a morning we have had. Late last night we received a call to say that due to a mix-up with some paperwork, A shipment of elephants we were expecting next weekend was being delivered early this morning. There was nobody to supervise their arrival except your grandmother and myself, and she had to stay until the vet had checked each one. I offered to fetch you instead. I forgot that a man of the bush knows nothing about the highway. I've been driving all over Cape Town. I hope you can forgive me. I will get you home to Sumbawa as fast as I can." Martine hardly knew how to respond to this torrent of words, but she immediately warmed to the big, gentle man who delivered them. He carried nature with him, almost like an aura. "Pleased to meet you, Tendai," she said, adding shyly, "Of course I'll forgive you." At these words Tendai laughed, picked up her suitcase, and tucking it under one arm, as if it weighed no more than a hen, he led the way out into the sunshine. And that is the end of chapter 3.